Before I start, I wanted to point out that I'm wearing my Grapefruit shirt. Grapefruit is the art collective I'm in. You should give us a follow if you're not already. Also, if you came to the art show we had on the 17th, here's a big thank you from me. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about college. I haven't really made a college video in a long time, and I feel like now that school is starting up, I should make one for all the little baby freshmen and all the transfers, and even if you're not in college and you just want to know what to expect, or if you're already in college and you're bored out of your mind eating Takis on your bed. So before I start the video, I want to give you a little bit of background on my college experience. I go to Loyola Marymount University. It's a mid-sized Jesuit university in Los Angeles. It's like half of it is in Playa Vista and half of it is in Westchester, which is over by the airport if you're not familiar with LA. And I absolutely love it there. I was actually a tour guide for a couple semesters, which was really fun. I am double majoring. My majors are studio arts, and for studio arts you have to pick a concentration. My concentration is drawing and painting, but there are like a ton of concentrations you can choose from, like ceramics or photo or printmaking or multimedia, art, elementary education, and my other major is psychology. Dream is to go to grad school at LMU because they have an amazing art therapy program, but we'll see if that actually happens. First thing I'm going to cover is like academics and staying organized, because I know that was probably the thing I was most worried about going into college, like even more so than social issues. First and number one tip that I have for everyone out there who's in college or going into college, I feel like this is fairly obvious and a lot of people say it, but at the same time I know a lot of people who don't do this, so I'm going to say it anyways. When you go to class on the first day, you've probably heard of the term syllabus week. Basically on the first day your professor should hand out like a syllabus. Basically it just says what to expect from the class and what is expected of you, and different policies such as being like absent or tardy. Did I just say tardy? Am I like a second grade teacher in 1987? But they should have policies about being absent or late to class. Also on your syllabus should be a list of dates where things are due. Every single class I've been to at LMU, the professor has put in each day what they're doing on each day in addition to the homework that's due. So what I do is I take out my planner. My planner is from Muji and you can fill in the dates. I highly recommend it. It was like $2. Then I'll go into each date and I'll look at the syllabus and I'll write what is due for the next class. So I'll write it in one class period earlier, because usually on the syllabus, oh, there's the siren. Usually on the syllabus, the homework printed next to the day is not what's due the next class, it's what's due that class. So definitely put it in a day earlier just to make sure. If you're confused about that, definitely clarify that with the professor. Second tip is to wait until the class actually starts to get the books. So I'm broke and I always do this. There's been times where I've known people who got all the books and then they get to class and the professor's like, oh yeah, I found a bootleg ebook version of the book online, or they'll say something like, you only need 2 pages from this book and I'll hand out photocopies, or things like that, honestly. But definitely wait to order your books until the class starts, because the professor will let you know what books you need and when, and if you're broke like me, sometimes you need different books at different points in the semester so you can order them later on, so that way you don't have to spend all your money at once. My third tip is to get a job. I know a lot of people in college who are very wealthy and their parents pay for their everything. They don't have a job. But I don't think that's a smart move, even if your parents do pay for everything. Definitely get a job. It's going to prepare you for the real world. It's nice to not have to ask your parents for money. I know in high school, before I could get a job, I always hated doing that. As you progress throughout the years, you're going to have to help pay rent, you're going to have to pay for your own groceries, you're going to have to pay for utilities, even if your parents are helping you with school. So definitely get a job. It's a good resume builder. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, all the on-campus jobs at LMU at least are like so easy. My job is amazing. All I have to do is sit at a desk, open a couple of doors, set up for a few events, and then the rest of the time I get to do my homework. Going along with that, apply for the jobs before school starts. Apply over the summer, because a lot of jobs hire right at the start of the school year. Like they'll interview you before the school year starts. So it's really important to just hop on that before everyone else does. My next tip is also a very obvious one, but it's one that a lot of my friends don't do and a lot of people in my classes don't do. That's go to office hours. I am not really sure how big universities work, because mine is a mid-sized one and leaning towards the smaller end. There's like 6,000 undergrads. So I'm not really sure how big lecture halls work, and that's another reason I like my university, is because there's like 30 kids a class most. But even in classes where there are 30 kids, if you only like participate in class but you never go to office hours, your professor's not really going to know who you are. So always go to office hours. Even if you don't have a question, think of a question, like make up a question and then go in and ask said question. If you have papers that you're writing, go in and prematurely ask how your paper is doing. Seriously, think of any excuse you can to go to office hours to get to know your professor. In addition, not to sound like a nerd or anything, but I've made some pretty close friends with my professors, and it's really great to have kind of a mentor-mentee relationship, especially as a freshman in college. My next tip is to go to your advisors. One thing I really don't like about my school is that I feel like we have a very poor advising system, and I actually had to initiate switching advisors because there was a bit of a language barrier between my advisor and I, which is fine, but they had difficulty understanding my other major because they were only familiar with my art major. Your school should also have advising centers to go to. Visit those. Figure out your 4-year plan as a freshman, and it sounds so extra, right? The thing is, the classes are going to fill up while you're waiting to register, especially as a lower classman. Sometimes they only teach certain classes certain semesters, or maybe a class will get canceled that you really wanted to take. So having a plan is a pretty easy fallback. I know LMU has cores and flags that you have to fulfill, so I made a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet my freshman year because I'm really extra, and I put all the classes that are filling in my cores and all that are fulfilling my major. Okay, now I'm gonna get into the fun kind of social stuff. My next tip is for all the little gaybies out there. I don't want to say I was a gaybie when I was going to college because I came out to my family when I was 16. I figured out that I was queer when I was in 7th grade, which is still kind of older for a lot of people, but I mean, I knew who I was and I had been comfortable in who I was, but I was only out to like a few friends and my family. I didn't come out in high school because I was very, very afraid to, and there was literally only one other person who was like completely out in my tiny little high school. And it was a Catholic school, and I just didn't want to be ostracized, and I know I would have been fine because honestly, all the kids who went to that high school are like good kids, you know? And I live in California, which is a pretty liberal state, but I was still way too scared to come out. And then when college came, I was just like, literally like the first day, I was just like gay. I think that's also because everyone tends to assume I'm straight because I'm pretty femme, which is somewhat unfortunate because I always have to be the one to initiate hitting on girls. And I'm very shy and I hate doing that. I have rainbow and everything, but some people still just don't get it. But my tip for all the little gaybies out there is to don't feel obligated to come out. In college, tons of people are going to come out because this is the first time for a lot of them, including me, where you can truly be yourself. However, if you don't feel comfortable being out, if your family still isn't accepting, or for whatever reason you just haven't come to terms with it, there's a million reasons why you wouldn't come out, and don't feel forced to. Even if you don't want to come out to any friends because you don't want to be accidentally outed, that's okay. Being in the closet was actually awful for me, but it was something that I felt I had to do for my own social safety. However, a lot of campuses have really great LGBT student services. Despite the fact that my university is a Jesuit Catholic university, we have an excellent LGBT student services. I just went to an LGBT barbecue at my school yesterday and I met a ton of cool people. So don't be afraid to get involved in different cultural activities on your campus. And this goes for everyone. If you want to join Black Student Union, if you want to join Chicano Club, if you want to join an Asian Pacific Islander organization or a Native American organization or a first generation college students or a first out of your family to go to college program, get involved on your campus in different cultural activities. Next, I have like a romance hookup relationship tip. I should probably not be giving advice because I rarely follow my own advice. But don't settle for someone who makes you feel inadequate. Last year, I like low-key settled for someone, and although I think she's like a wonderful person and I wish nothing but the best for her, the whole situation made me feel like shit. It made me feel absolutely awful. I was really unhappy and this person was constantly making me feel less than adequate. And honestly, the nicest thing this person did for me was break it off because I was too scared to do it myself and I liked them too much despite the fact that it was like a really horrible environment for me to be in. And I'm really mad at myself that I like settled for this person, because despite the fact that they're like an absolute wonderful person, I just don't think we're compatible like at all. And really the only reason I continued to be with this person was because I felt like I had to. And if someone that you're with is making you feel like anything less than the most special person in the world, I don't think you should be with that person. And that's not to say that that person can never call you out on shitty things that you do, because it's really important to be called out once you do something shitty. I'm just saying, if they're constantly putting you down and constantly making you feel awful, you really shouldn't be with that person, and that's something that took me a while to figure out. I feel like I missed out on a lot of opportunities because I was kind of stuck in this situation. So that's my really depressing tip, is don't settle for someone. Make sure the person you're with is making you feel wonderful and that it's loving and healthy if it's a relationship. Set boundaries if it's not. Most of all, don't settle like I did. That was not a good experience. Okay, my last tip is going to be about making friends, and that would be step out of your comfort zone. So I've definitely told the story about how I met all my friends before, but I'm gonna say it again. My first group of friends freshman year I met because I texted a girl in my class who had complimented my Doc Martens. I asked her to go to a frat party with me at USC. If you guys are familiar with USC, which I'm sure you are, it's kind of, a lot of people are really into their frat parties. They're really big. They have like a frat row. Frat parties are not my cup of tea. I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs, and I just went to babysit my friends basically. So I've been to quite a few frat parties at USC and at LMU, and literally just babysitting my friends. But that's how I met my group of friends, is because I asked this one girl to go to a frat party with me, and she added me to a group chat, and then I'm still friends with a lot of those people to this day, which is really nice. I lied. This is my last tip. Don't be afraid to not drink, smoke, or do drugs. And if you are going to do those things, be safe about it. Don't be stupid. Make sure you have a sober friend. I mentioned earlier that I don't do anything. I'm the most straight edge, boring person in the world. And that's for my own personal reasons. And I'm always in settings where people are doing those things. Especially, you know, I go to warehouse parties, I go to house parties, I chill out with my friends on a Saturday night. I like don't have a problem being around that. If you are going to partake in those things, just be really careful about it. Don't drink and drive, don't smoke weed and drive, don't do any kind of drugs and drive. When I say don't be afraid to not participate in those things, I'm not saying people are going to pressure you into trying them, because I've literally never had someone pressure me. I've had people offer me things, and when I say no, they're like, oh cool. I've never had someone try to be like, oh, try it, you know, like, I've never had like a scary drug dealer try to like tell me to take Molly or something. But basically, no one's gonna care if you don't drink. No one is gonna care if you're not smoking weed. No one is gonna care if you're not doing drugs. Like, don't be afraid not to. And a side note on that is, if your friend is in trouble, don't be afraid to call help for them. A lot of schools have a Good Samaritan policy, including my school, where if someone's like seriously hurt, if you think they have alcohol poisoning or they did too many drugs, etc., you can call our public safety and no one's going to get in trouble. They just take care of the person and make sure they're okay. I've had to do it before, and it's really scary. And it feels like I'm tattling kind of, but the bottom line is, someone's life is a million times more important than your pride. I'd much rather have a friend be mad at me for calling them help prematurely than attending a friend's funeral. So as dorky as that sounds, I promise I'm not a nerd, but like, don't be afraid to call help if you really think they need help. Be aware of the signs of alcohol poisoning. Watch how much your friends are drinking. Take care of each other. And just be really careful. Okay, so that was it for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too long. I've been filming for a kind of long time, but I'm gonna try to cut it down. If any video requests, leave them in the comments. If you want to follow me or Grapefruit on social media, I'll have it all linked in the description. Come on over to my Instagram. We have lots of positive thoughts over there. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.